We're going to talk about how the smart grid will help us save transmission costs through better utilization of our transmission system. If you look at this curve here, this is a typical peak day use curve. What we mean by a peak day is that day when all of the grid in New England is using its most amount of power. That typically happens on a very hot summer day when you've got all kinds of air conditioning running throughout New England. Happens on a very cold winter day when you've got a lot of blower fans working for furnaces, electric heat going on in New England. So we pay for our transmission costs based on those peak days. So what happens is Vermont Electric Cooperative's transmission bill is rated on how its peak coincides with the system peak. So if we're able to reduce that peak on a peak day, we reduce our share of the costs. And more importantly is the utilization of the system. If you look at a typical system, we design for the peak power of that system. So it's just like a water pipe. You've got to have the pipe big enough to handle the maximum flow that's going to come through it. But when it's not at maximum flow, all that area underneath is free capacity. It's not being used. So if you look under this part, that's actual part that's being used. It's all designed for that one point, system peak. So if we can take and move some of that load and shift it around, so we can take some of this load and push it out this way, push it out this way, and flatten this curve, we've got all this area available to us at no cost, essentially, in order to provide power needs for our customers. So it's all about managing the peak. If we can have a completely flat peak load, that means we've reach the maximum capability of our system. So smart grid should help us by getting signals out to our customers in the term of price signals. Our customers should be paying more for power during peak and much less for power. In fact, oftentimes out here, power is free. Last week was a very hot week. We were looking at 23 cents a kilowatt hour for power during system peak. 23 cents a kilowatt hour when at the retail rate it's only 15 cents. So you can see we're losing a lot of money. What's essentially happening is the utilities are paying for that hedge and giving our customers an average bill. If our customers manage that, they're going to do a better job. That's really how the goal can be achieved through the smart grid.